Stud Muffin 1986 here. Time for another tank, or should I say tanks, review. There was 2 new tanks that hit the store. As a matter of fact, they're not necessarily new. They've actually been in the game for quite some time, but they're now available in the store for purchase for gold. You can go in and see them. I do have both tanks, so I do have a replay. I'm just going to go over some of my thoughts on them. I think they're decent. I think they're pretty good tanks. I wouldn't say they're OP, but they are good. I'll first be going over the Glacial, and then I'll be going over the WZ. The Glacial Chinese Tier 8 Premium tank. There are some aspects about it that are impressive. If you only have an IS-3 in the game, this is, I would say, a good tank to get. There's things about it that are, in my opinion, better, but when we go in and we dive into a little bit of the stats, you're going to see some of the balance differences between the two, a little bit more in detail. So with the Glacial, the one thing that really stands out to me is it doesn't have the pike nose like a lot of the Tier 8 IS classic heavy tanks do. Which is good, because in my replay, you're going to be able to see me poke my front of my tank out at an angle and get some bounces. Replay wasn't anything special. I wasn't really paying attention to where my team was, and I ended up pushing a little hard. My WZ Destroyer, the replay was a little better, but when you go in and look at this thing, the Glacial tank, I mean, it has the classic IS Tier 8 heavy Russian cannon to it, across the board. I mean, there's some differences between the others, as you can see, but it is a copy-paste cannon of some of the others you can see. There's really no differences. Maybe some slight differences in accuracy and some, but pretty standard. Not a whole lot to go over here. When you go into the now, the one thing I guess I will mention before moving on is this thing does have -6 degrees of gun depression, unlike some of the others you see here that only has -5. So that is a little bit of an added bonus, which is nice. That extra degree will help you get your cannon down a little bit more, especially on hilly terrain. So that's nice. Going into the speed and maneuverability, it's pretty average. You can see here some are faster, some are slower, some it's like just on par. It's your classic run-of-the-mill IS Tier 8, heavy maneuverability. The IS-6 and the IS-3 are a little faster, which is understandable. When we go down and then look at the armor, this thing does have more armor, which is nice. And as I had mentioned before, the thing that really stands out to me about this tank is it doesn't have that pike nose. So when you do come out angled, that upper Glacial plate is harder to penetrate than the IS-3, which for players that do like the IS-3 and they don't have like a premium alternative, this is not a bad choice. Honestly, in my opinion, I think it's a good tank and I think you'll be happy with it. When we go in and look at the armor inspector, there are some things you do need to be a little conscious of, which is the cupolas on top. You can sometimes get yourself in a position thinking that, okay, my turret is great, it's impenetrable, I can pop that thing out and stay still. If you do, you can get those cupola shots, so you do want to do a little moving back and forth when an enemy is trying to take shots at that. And I mean, honestly, you've got a good armor profile. So that is the Glacial. I'll go into and show a review, or a replay of that. The WZ Destroyer is a Tier 7 hybrid nation. This one also has that classic Tier 7 Russian heavy cannon, but tank destroyer style. So, where you do have that 400 average damage cannon, which is nice. At Tier 7, it is going to feel a little bit more derpy, which is nice. You do have decent penetration. Its accuracy is okay. It's really not bad. The nice thing is you do have a turret that is a little, that does have a little swing to it, which is nice. It's not, completely stuck, just pointing straight. However, it's not a full 360 degree rotating turret, so you do need to keep that in mind. This is definitely a support tank / tank destroyer. It's a light TD. So you do not want to be putting yourself in positions where you're completely relying on your armor and you're completely solo and trying to take on just tanks by yourself. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a support tank. Move with your team, go in, get the shots. But yeah, it's definitely not a tank that you're going to want to go completely solo with, and it's not a tank that you're going to want to completely rely on your armor, as this thing doesn't really have any armor. Its maneuverability, honestly, is not bad. It's you will see in the replay just what that feels like, and it is honestly not bad. I think this tank it's a good tank. Like, I like it. I don't play with it a lot, but I would say if you're a newer player to the game and you're not as familiar with the play style of a light-ish armored tank, then I would say maybe go more with the Glacial than the WZ. But just my 2 cents. Anyway, enjoy the replays. The Glacial one isn't anything special, but I think it'll get the point across. WZ, there is a much, I did a bit better in that one. So hope you enjoy, and hopefully this review helps your decision. This is Stud Muffin 1986. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.